Here's a little refresher on 5.4b, which is our synthetic division section. You have to do it through this method, although this is your favorite method out of the two division methods. And I'm going to just take a look at one of them. I'm going to look at number 5 with you. So this setup for synthetic division, you start by writing this little like half box, and inside of that half box you put the solution to your divisor. So if you were to solve n plus 6 equals 0, you'd get n equals negative 6. And I know a lot of you are just thinking that's like the opposite of that number. It's a little more complicated than that, so be careful. The next thing I want you to pay attention to is all of your lead terms in your polynomial that is in your dividend, but you got to make sure you're not missing any terms. So like here, for instance, this is really an n to the third plus 0n squareds minus 36n minus 8. So when you do that, you got to remember, I got to erase this because I need room, that your coefficients have a 0 as a placeholder here. So your coefficients in standard form order are a 1, and then we saw there's 0 n squareds, a negative 36, and then a negative 8, all the way down to the constant. So a lot of you, I imagine, the first time we tested this, were tricked by that missing placeholder. All right, start by bringing down your first term, and then it's a series of multiplies and adds. So if it's below the line here, that means your next step is to multiply, and if your math is above the line here, that means your next step is to add them up. So 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. And when you add that column up, and remember we're referring to this vertical column here, that adds up to a negative 6. Now we multiply. Negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36. And when you add up this column, you get a 0. And then 0 times negative 6 is 0. And then negative 8 plus 0 is negative 8. So the last number you get in synthetic division represents your remainder. But the rest of the numbers that are here are the coefficients. So if you think about your answer, what your actual problem was, you took an n to the third and you divided it by an n to the first. Like at the basis of the problem, that's what you're doing. So your answer should start off with an n squared. So that means for us, this is a 1n squared. And then next would be a minus 6n. You can say plus 0, but it's kind of weird. And then your remainder is still stuck in the division question of being divided by n plus 6. So instead of saying plus negative 8, I'm just going to write down a subtraction sign with an 8 who's still stuck in the n plus 6 division problem. And that is your quotient with remainder. All right, good luck.